The average person has 6,000 thoughts a day, and according to cognitive science, 80% of thoughts are negative. But it gets even worse. Harvard researchers found we spend 47% of our lives mentally distracted, meaning you are statistically missing half of your life to chronic stress that American Psychological Association links to the sixth leading cause of death. There's a reason over 5 million people have turned to one specific manual to stop this downward spiral. Today, I want to talk about a book that can completely change how you experience your life. Not your goals, not your bank account, not your achievements, but your inner world. The power of now. And here is the central idea. Most of our suffering does not come from what is happening. It comes from our thoughts about what is happening. Let's slow this down and test it. Right now, as you are listening, are you in danger? Are you starving? Are you physically unsafe? Probably not. But if I say, what about your future? What about your next year? What if something goes wrong? Notice your body. Maybe your chest tightens just a little. The tension did not come from reality. It came from imagination. A Harvard study found that people spend about 47% of their waking time thinking about something other than what they are doing. Almost half of our life, we are mentally somewhere else. And there's the important part. When the mind wanders, people report being less happy. Not because something bad is happening, but because they are not present. Let me ask you something honestly. How often are you actually here, in this moment? Not replaying yesterday, not worrying about tomorrow, not imagining conversations that haven't happened yet, just here. One of the most powerful ideas in this book is this: you are not your mind. We think constantly, we judge constantly, we plan constantly, and we assume that voice in our head is who we are. But the moment you notice your thoughts, there are two things now: the thought and the awareness watching the thoughts. That awareness is real you. When you begin observing your thoughts instead of becoming them, something changes. There is space, and in that space, there is peace. Now, let's talk about ego. The ego is the identity we build from our past, our job, our success, our failures, our trauma, our achievements. The ego constantly asks, am I ahead? Am I behind? Do people respect me? Why do this happen to me? The ego lives in comparison, and comparison creates suffering. You open your phone, someone got engaged, someone bought a house, someone started a company. Suddenly your mind says, where am I? 10 seconds ago, you were fine. Nothing changed in your life. Comparison created dissatisfaction, not reality. Author explains something very important. There is a difference between clock time and psychological time. Clock time is practical. You plan your week, you schedule meetings, you learn from mistakes. That's healthy. But psychological time, that's when you emotionally live in the past or mentally obsess about the future. Regret, anxiety, fear, resentment, that's where suffering grows. Because life is only ever happening now. Think about this. You made an embarrassing mistake years ago. Sometimes at night your brain replays it. You feel the same again. Even though you are safe, your body reacts as if it just happened. That is the mind replaying memory. You are again going back to the place and time when it happened, when you are now safe in somewhere else. Another powerful concept from the book is the pain body. The pain body is stored emotional pain, old hurt, old rejection, old anger. Imagine someone gives you light feedback. Maybe you could improve this. That's neutral. But suddenly you feel deeply hurt. Why? Because it touched an old wound. You are not reacting to the sentence, you are reacting to accumulated emotion. That's the pain body. The solution is awareness. Pause. Notice the emotion rising. Tell yourself, this is old pain being triggered. That awareness weakens it. Let's talk about stress and anxiety. Millions of people struggle with anxiety, and most anxiety is about the future. The body reacts to scenarios that haven't happened. You're trying to sleep, your body is tired, but your mind says, what if something goes wrong? Your heart beats faster, but there is no threat in your room. That's living outside the now. You are sitting at a dining table with your family. Your child is talking, but your mind is somewhere else. Bills, deadlines, old conversation. You nod your head, but you are not fully there. That's how we miss life. So, how do we practice living in the now? Simple anchors. Your breathe. Feel it, your body. Notice your hands, your feet touching the ground, the air on your skin. Your body is always in the present. Your breath is always in the present. When your mind races, come back to that again and again. Some people think if I stop worrying, I'll lose ambition. Actually, the opposite is true. When you act from presence, you act with clarity, not fear. Presence removes unnecessary suffering. Here's a powerful question. Right now, in this exact second, is there a real problem? Not tomorrow, not next month, right now. Most of the time, the answer is no, but the mind keeps manufacturing problems. You don't need to fix your whole life tonight. You don't need a 5-year plan right now. You only need to fully enter this moment. And then the next one, and then the next one. Because life is not happening in the future. Life is happening here, right now. And when you truly understand that, not intellectually but experientially, your stress reduces, your reactions soften, your relationships deepen, your inner life becomes lighter. That realization changes everything. Let me share a personal story with you today. A story about how one simple idea from a book slowly changed the way I live my life. Before I read this book, my mind was almost never quiet. I was always thinking about work, about tomorrow, about expectations, about whether I was doing enough, whether I was doing things right, and whether the future would turn out the way I hoped. My mind was constantly somewhere else. Sometimes it was replaying conversations from the past. Things my boss said, things my coworkers said, sometimes even small comments that probably meant nothing. But in my mind, they became big. I would analyze them again and again. Did I say the wrong thing? Did they mean something deeper? And slowly, without realizing it, those thoughts started stealing my peace. But the future was even worse because the future is full of uncertainty. I remember applying for jobs or opportunities, submitting an application, sending that final email, and then waiting. But instead of moving on with my day, my mind would stay stuck there. What if they reject me? What if someone better applies? What if I made a mistake? And the funny thing is, after you submit the application, after you give your best effort, there's absolutely nothing left to control. Nothing. But still, the mind keeps worrying. And that worrying does not change the result. It only changes one thing: your peace and your present moment. Then one day, this book made me realize something powerful. Most of the stress in our life comes from thinking about things that are not in our control. We spend hours worrying about outcomes, about decisions other people will make, about things that haven't happened yet. But we ignore the one thing we actually do control right now, this moment. And once I started seeing life this way, my perspective on time began to change. Time suddenly felt precious because I realized something very simple. There are things in life that will only happen when their time comes. No amount of worrying will make them happen sooner. No amount of overthinking will change their timing. Sometimes life simply unfolds when it is ready. And while we wait, we forget to live. Think about this. Imagine you applied for a job in another city, a job that might change your life. Now you spend weeks waiting for the answer. But during those weeks, you stop enjoying your present. You stop laughing with your friends, you stop being fully present with your family because your mind is stuck in the future. And then imagine the job offer finally arrives and you actually have to move away. Suddenly you realize something painful. You miss precious time with the people around you, time you'll never get back. All because you were worrying about something that had not even happened yet. Because the truth is simple: the past is gone, the future is uncertain. But this moment, this breath, this conversation, this experience, this is real. This is life happening right now. And if we can learn to truly live here, to be present here, to give our best here, then the future often becomes better than we imagined. That is the biggest lesson this book gave me. Think about this for a moment. The past exists only in memory. The future exists only in imagination. But the present is real. This moment is the only place where your life actually exists. The only place where love happens. The only place where growth happens. The only place where change happens. And maybe that is the quiet wisdom behind everything. Life isn't waiting for you somewhere in the future. Life is happening right now. Thank you for watching this episode. If you like the content, please share and subscribe. Thank you.